What's up YouTube, Zero here, and today I have an amazing Beedrill deck in Pokemon TCG Pocket. In this video, I'll go over the deck build that you can see on the left hand side of the screen. I'll talk about each of the cards in this deck and why they play really well with each other. You did not hear me incorrectly, that's right, I am only going with Beedrill EX and its evolution line in this deck. Rare Candy has opened up an immense possibility for every Pokemon that requires a couple of evolutions. You can go into a lot of battles with just one evolution line, and Rare Candy can really ease the burden. Now, of course, some Pokemon are going to be a little bit better than others for doing a deck solely revolved around one Pokemon and its evolution line. Beedrill is one of those Pokemon. As long as you can get it onto the playing field quickly, and Rare Candy helps you do this, you can completely dominate your opponents thanks to Beedrill's attack. So, since we're talking about Beedrill, let's talk about Beedrill in more depth as the star of this deck. So Beedrill EX that you're going to find in the Shining Revelry packs has only one move, but this move is crucial to winning battles. It's going to be Crushing Spear for 2 grass energy. This is going to deal 80 damage, but it has an ability combined with that really makes this card amazing. So Crushing Spear, 80 damage for 2 grass energy, and you discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is going to be huge to stopping your opponent in their tracks, especially from attacking you. This can even be great in preventing the Pokemon from retreating as well. If they don't have enough energy on them to retreat and you are constantly taking away one of their energies, they're not only going to be able to not attack, but they're not going to be able to retreat as well. So they're stopped in their tracks, allowing you for just being able to defeat that Pokemon. So that's going to be absolutely amazing for you and your Beedrill. That's why you want to get Beedrill EX out there as quickly as possible. 2 grass energy isn't a lot, and thanks to Rare Candy, it's not going to take long as you have the right cards to evolve into Beedrill EX and start dealing damage to your opponent and not allowing them to get off their move or retreat via energy, because you're constantly taking away energy from that opponent in that active slot. So that's why Beedrill EX is amazing and can stop your opponent in their tracks. Not only are you going to stop them from attacking, but you can potentially stop them from retreating as well, thanks to Crushing Spear, constant energy from the Pokemon on the opposing team. So now let's just talk about the Beedrill line. I do have one Kakuna in this deck, and it's just to ease the burden a little bit, not necessarily relying on those rare candies. It gives me an opportunity to potentially evolve into Kakuna if I really need it. Now, the main goal is going to be getting those rare candies so I can evolve into Beedrill. However, I do have a Kakuna in this deck just to give me better odds to evolving into my Beedrill. With the Kakuna combined with the rare candies, I now have 3 opportunities to evolve into a Beedrill rather than just relying on the 2 opportunities from the rare candy. The Kakuna that I have is also pretty amazing for stopping opponents in their tracks. Now, this is the Kakuna with String Shot. There are multiple Kakunas in the game, so this is the one with String Shot that also comes from the Shining Revelry packs. And String Shot deals 20 damage for 1 grass energy, but you also get to flip a coin, and if it's heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So that's pretty great as well. If you do have to put Kakuna in that active slot, you can paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon. So that's pretty cool as well. The main goal is going to be getting to those rare candies so you can more quickly evolve into Beedrill. But if you're struggling to get the rare candies out of your deck, of course, there are only 2 out of 20 cards, so you do have a 10% chance of pulling a rare candy. If you're not able to get one of those rare candies, you can get Kakuna and potentially slow your opponent down with the Paralyze and do a little bit of damage. Weedle, you need Weedle, of course, that's going to be obvious. Weedle is the beginning of the evolution line. You need 2 of them, and I'm going with the Weedle that has Multiply. Again, there are multiple Weedles in the game. Utilize the one that has Multiply, and this is extremely important for multiple reasons. 1, when you equip a Grass Energy, it has Multiply. This is going to put 1 random Weedle from your deck onto the bench. So you're not going to have to worry about having a Pokeball in this deck. Both of your basic Pokemon, after you do a Multiply from Weedle, are going to be on the playing field. So you're not going to have to worry about a Pokeball trying to get that basic Pokemon. Both of them are going to be on the playing field. This is also going to be pretty critical when combined with Pokemon Communication. Now, I have 2 in this deck. You really don't need to, but I wanted to increase the odds of grabbing a Pokemon Communication. Again, this deck is all about getting Beedrill onto the playing field. If you don't get Beedrill, you're going to lose. This deck is revolved around getting Beedrill out as quickly as possible to stop your enemy in their tracks from equipping energy onto their active Pokemon. So Pokemon Communication times 2 is going to give me the opportunity, if I do have a Kakuna in my hand and a Pokemon Communication in my hand, to draw the Beedrill if I don't have Beedrill in my hand. That's why I have 2 Pokemon Communication, just to increase the odds of getting it. If I do have a Kakuna and I'm looking for a Beedrill, I now know I can pull it from the deck. That's why Multiply is important, because it takes that second Weedle out of the deck, knowing that if I have a Kakuna in my hand and a Pokemon Communication in my hand, if I sacrifice that Kakuna for Pokemon Communication, I know I'm pulling a Beedrill. So that's going to be extremely important to this deck and getting Beedrill onto the playing field as quickly as possible. And this Weedle is also going to be found in the Shining Revelry deck, just like the rest of the evolution line. Pokemon Communication, for those of you who don't know, you choose a Pokemon in your hand and you switch it with a random Pokemon in your deck. So that's why if you have in your hand a Pokemon Communication, a Kakuna, and a rare candy, and you know you need that Beedrill, no need to put the Kakuna on the playing field, you sacrifice the Kakuna and you're pulling that Beedrill out, knowing that you can evolve with rare candy. There are a lot of opportunities for this where you do have a hand with rare candy, Kakuna, and Beedrill. Or Kakuna, Pokemon Communication, and rare candy, so you can pull that Beedrill out and equip it as quickly as possible. So that's why I like having Pokemon Communication in this deck. So if I do have to sacrifice my Kakuna, I can, and I know I'm going to pull a Beedrill. Now let's talk about the rest of the supporting cast in this deck. And I'm going to talk about Professor's Research just briefly. Professor's Research, you draw 2 cards. This is going to allow me to get to the cards in my deck as quickly as possible. Rare candies are going to be the bread and butter, so if I need rare candies, hopefully I'm going to utilize Professor's Research to pull them if I haven't pulled them already. Professor's Research is a common card that you can purchase from the store, so just be on the lookout for that. Pokemon Communication is going to be in the Space Time Smackdown Dialga packs, so look out for those to get those in your deck if you do not have them. Rare Candy is going to be found in the Celestial Guardians packs. Either or, Solgaleo or Lunala, you can open up either and you have a chance of getting a rare candy. Now let's talk about the rest of the cast in this deck. So Beedrill is going to be it. Beedrill is going to be how you win and lose the game, so increasing its survivability is going to be crucial. That's why I have 2 Lilies in this deck. Lily, you heal 60 damage from one of your Stage 2 Pokemon. Beedrill is a Stage 2 Pokemon, so utilizing Lily when you can to heal 60 damage is going to be crucial. Lily, upon Lily, is going to deal for 120 damage after a few turns. Of course, it's a supporter. You can only use one at a time, but 60 damage is an insane amount to heal. So healing for that amount is going to be crucial to your survivability of your Beedrill. And Lily is going to be found in the Celestial Guardians Solgaleo packs. Next, I add in Erica. Erica heals 50 damage from one of your grass Pokemon. This again is going to heal a lot of damage to keep your Beedrill alive. 50 damage is absolutely insane. So in total, with all of the healing of this deck, you're going to be able to heal 170 damage. Of course, it's not going to be all at once. You're going to have to heal consecutive turns because all of them are supporting cards, trainer cards. But it does heal a lot of damage and increases the survivability of your Beedrill. And Erica is going to be found in the Genetic Apex Charizard packs. Next, I have Sabrina. Sabrina is going to be pretty fun with this deck and is going to be great as well. You already know that your opponent is going to be stopped dead in their tracks when you're utilizing Beedrill on their active Pokemon. They may be in a spot where they do have enough energy to keep equipping so they can keep attacking. In that part of the battle, you may want to utilize a Sabrina. Perhaps they have a Pokemon on their bench that does not have any energy, or maybe doesn't have enough energy to attack or retreat. So you can utilize Sabrina to pull that card into the active slot while you're continuing to discard an energy. That opponent can't do anything. They're not able to attack. They're not able to retreat because they don't have enough energy. So Sabrina is going to be crucial for that in the strategic play of this game. Now, Sabrina, for those of you who don't know, you switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench and your opponent chooses the new Pokemon. So that's going to be crucial to the strategic play of the Beedrill deck, is forcing your opponent to put a Pokemon in the active slot that doesn't have enough energy to attack or retreat. Your Beedrill is going to keep taking away one energy, so essentially you're going to have a free takedown when your opponent puts that Pokemon in that active slot. Of course, this is all dependent upon if your opponent doesn't have a card such as X-Speed or Leaf that can automatically decrease the retreat cost and pull that Pokemon back. But a lot of opponents don't have Leaf right now because there are just so many cards that are great in this game that you can put in a deck. A lot of people aren't running Leaf. So most likely you're not going to find an opponent that has Leaf. Every once in a while you will. I do know I have some decks with Leaf, but most likely you're going to be in a good spot drawing that Pokemon into the active slot and getting that free kill. Sabrina is going to be found in the Genetic Apex Charizard packs. Next, I'm going to have Team Rocket Grunt. This is also great when combined with Beedrill. Now, Team Rocket Grunt, flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So you're already discarding an energy with Beedrill with your attack. Team Rocket Grunt is going to be great because, like I said earlier, your opponent may already have enough energy, so where if they equip one more energy every turn, they can keep attacking. Team Rocket Grunt could be the potential to take away that energy so your opponent can't attack. Now, of course, it's a 50-50 chance. Having two Team Rocket Grunts in your deck means you can potentially take away one energy, or at least on average, one energy per match. And that can be the flip of the tide. If you utilize Team Rocket Grunt and you take away one energy, and then you attack with Beedrill and take away one energy, taking away two energy most likely means your opponent's not going to be able to attack. Most opponents don't over-equip energy on their Pokemon. They equip enough just to attack. So if you are able to take away two energy, you're going to put your opponent's active Pokemon in a spot where they can't attack. So that's going to be awesome when coupled with Beedrill, is that you're taking away more energy, forcing your opponent either into a retreat or into a spot where they have to utilize a support card to retreat if they have one, or into a death where they just have that Pokemon in the active slot as cannon fodder because they can't do anything. That's why Team Rocket Grunt is great in this deck. And of course, I get that from the Shining Revelry packs if you want Team Rocket Grunt and you don't have them. Last but not least, I have a couple of Pokemon tools. Leaf Cape, which the grass Pokemon that the card is attached to gets an extra 30 HP, which is absolutely awesome. You get to increase Beedrill's HP from 170 to 200, so that's going to avoid a lot of one-hit KOs. It's absolutely phenomenal to have that equipped on your Beedrill, because most Pokemon, apart from Charizard, won't be able to hit for that much, so you can at least keep your Beedrill alive for one hit. And the second one I have is Poison Barb. Sometimes you need to do a little bit extra damage, so poisoning your opponent's Pokemon is going to be really nice. Of course, Poison Barb is nice to doing that. If your opponent can't retreat, there aren't as many cards in the game that heal poison as there are just healing HP. So I like Poison Barb because it can eat away at your opponent's health, even if they do heal with, say, Lily that I have in the deck, or Erica or Potion. They're not clearing the poison, so the poison can continually eat away at my opponent's health. Of course, Rocky Helm doesn't mean as much. If you're forcing your opponent into not attacking, then you're not going to get the benefits of Rocky Helm. If your opponent does attack once, Poison Barb is going to be there to continually deal the damage. Now, if you want 2 Leaf Capes, I don't mind that. If you want 2 Poison Barbs, that's probably okay too. But I prefer one or the other, and I like to play it how the game is going. So that's the deck. Let me know in the comments section what you think of this deck. Do you like using just Beedrill? Do you like using just solo evolution lines in general in decks? Or would you prefer something else? Let me know what you'd substitute in this deck as a part of increasing the power of this deck. Thank you for enjoying this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace.